Brad had already indicated from the very beginning that he just couldn't see himself not having a few beers with his buddies on the golf course, at parties, on his boat, or at a ball game. And I couldn't agree more. I share his sentiments exactly. But the pivotal words here are a few beers, not 20. So we proceeded to set the intention. Based on the conversation we had had about responsible limits, Brad decided that he intended to follow these guidelines. Brad will drink no more than 1 beer per hour, and he will limit his drinking days to only 3 days per week. He also decided that he would string his non-drinking days together on 4 consecutive days, Monday through Thursday, and would only drink on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. He made this decision based on the research that I had shared with him, which indicates that if you're going to drink at all, it is best to have non-drinking intervals that allow your body to rest and regenerate. By our calculations, this would mean that on most weeks, he would be drinking about 14 beers total. He usually worked pretty late on Fridays, which meant that by the time he cracked open a beer, he would probably be within 4 hours of his normal bedtime, thus only 4 beers on Friday. On weeks that he played a round of golf or went to the lake, this might extend to 5 beers on Saturday or Sunday or both, depending on the activity. Brad volunteered at this point that this was going to be different. He admitted rather sheepishly that there were times he would put an entire case of beer in his cooler on the boat and it would come back empty. So on no occasion would he drink more than 1 per hour. To make it easy, his goal was to never crack open a beer until it was the top of the hour. Pretty simple, really. Brad can only open a beer when the time is on the hour. No counting, no trying to keep track, simply making sure that a full hour has passed before opening his next beer. Now I asked Brad if he could see himself doing this. His answer was affirmative. When he thought about it this way, yeah, it seemed pretty doable. So I asked him to visualize this for just a minute. Now, visualization is a powerful tool, used in just about every discipline from professional sports to brain surgery. To see ourselves performing the way we intend to perform in our mind's eye. So together, Brad and I wrote out this visualization in detail, starting from the moment he arrived at the golf course and ending when his day was over. What was he going to say, for instance, when someone offered him a beer and it wasn't yet the top of the hour? How was he going to respond if his buddies started ribbing him to just take a shot? It's ultra important that we have a mental game, a plan that covers every conceivable scenario, and we gain this by visualization. It's really no different than what I did as a young man playing baseball. When I was out there at shortstop waiting for the next pitch, I was visualizing, mentally rehearsing every possible scenario. Where would I go with a ground ball? Where would I position myself if the ball was hit to the outfield? Visualizing and mentally rehearsing made me good at the game. And whether we're trying to get good at baseball or drinking responsibly, both benefit greatly from visualization and mental rehearsal. Only we're going just a bit further here and actually writing it down. Now by writing, I'm not saying it has to be pen and paper writing. I'm including typing, texting, dictating, audio taping, and even videotaping. I call these videotapes cognitive selfies. Brad has a smartphone, so he can do all of these things right on his phone. This way, Brad has his detailed intention with him at all times in several different powerful mediums, and he can refer to it whenever he wants to. As we worked through the intention and the visualization together, I took good notes. Brad's intention was to drink no more than 1 beer per hour, period. If he decided to take a shot, then that counts as his 1 drink for that hour. Since he's playing golf this coming Saturday, he visualized that scenario and determined that when he arrived at the golf course at 12:30 for his 1 p.m. tee time, his buddies would already be drinking and they would offer him a beer. He predetermined that his response would be, "I just got done eating lunch. I want to let it settle a minute before I get to drinking." So thus he would wait until after teeing off to crack open his first beer. Now Brad knew that his buddies would be offering him another beer well before 2 p.m. They usually drank at least one per hole. So he thought about his response to this. Brad came up with, "I'm just not feeling it right now. I think I better take it a bit slow." And that was really all he had to think about. Each time his buddies would ask if he was ready for another one, he would simply lift his beer, shake it a bit, and say, "Yeah, still working on it." And then, when the top of the hour hit, he would ask his buddies if they were ready, as he grabbed one for himself. So Brad would never have to say no, just, not yet. He imagined that his buddies might rib him for being a lightweight, but that ultimately they probably wouldn't even notice that he was drinking far less than they were. When we had the visualization done, I simply grabbed my own cell phone, dictated my notes, and sent them in a text to Brad's phone. Now Brad had his intention in writing, sitting in his inbox on his cell phone. That whole process took us all of 10 minutes. I then instructed Brad to write that out when he got home and hold it up behind his cell phone, sort of as a makeshift teleprompter, and shoot a video of himself. This we call his intention selfie. So, I recommended referring to this selfie 10 times daily at first, and especially right before Brad stepped onto the golf course or headed up to the lake. By doing so, Brad is taking advantage of what is known in neuroscience as priming. Studies have shown that priming the desired neurological circuits immediately prior to performing the intention can increase the likelihood of carrying out that intention by over 50%. So now Brad was locked and loaded and ready to go.